thanks go out to the organizers for inviting me to give this short address for this outstanding forum. I will use the opportunity to give a more general approach of our thinking about corporate responsibility and add some Volkswagen ideas. As already told, we are witnessing a deep economically and financially crisis in relevant parts of the world, and this is on the one side a very serious challenge for the idea of sustainability. We can actually observe in Doha the complexity of an internal agreement concerning climate protection, and we have to be aware that there are different but legitimate different interests. Besides these challenges, I see a great chance for offer solutions, and I will illustrate it in the next few minutes. Mobility is a fundamental human need, and individual mobility is a driver of economic development all over the world. There are currently, I think, 1 billion vehicles, and we expect in the next 10 years that there will then be 1.3 billion individuals. This mobility boost must be handled very responsible, and that means pushing ahead with environmental friendly technologies, with developing intelligent and sustainable transportation systems. Ladies and gentlemen, the year 2012, Volkswagen recorded a handsome boost in unit sales and in market shares, in earnings, but also in ratings of the sustainability agencies and so on. Step by step, Volkswagen is moving towards our ambitious goal for becoming the #1 in the automotive industry, both economically and ecologically. But, ladies and gentlemen, let's make one thing very clear. For a company like Volkswagen, building great cars and being commercially successful isn't enough, especially in times like the present, where the economic and social framework is being shaken by such fundamental change and pronounced uncertainty. Volkswagen is facing up the pressure issues of our times, and more importantly, I think we are coming up with some of the answers to these issues. Because we accept our responsibility for good and secure jobs. For example, the organic growth of our jobs in the last 5 years around the world were 60,000. These are 60,000 more secure and good jobs around the world, only by our company. For training as the future of the younger generation, for education, science and culture, for a society where every individual can develop and grow, and above all for an intact environment. I think we have achieved already something in the past, but as mentioned, this isn't enough for us. And therefore, for example, in Geneva this year, our CEO, Martin Winterkorn, has given a go-ahead for a fundamental ecological restructuring of our group. And we set up new ambitious targets. For example, in total, we will reduce our CO2 emissions from our European new vehicle fleet by the year 2015 under 120 grams per kilometer for the first time. I think this is to take in account the broad portfolio of our company, a really very ambitious and tough target. And we will also reduce our productions by 25% for the most important KPIs like water consumption, energy consumption, CO2 emissions, waste, and so on. To be aware, this is ambitious, but this requires especially enormous efforts on an unprecedented scale in both technologically and financially. So it's necessary to earn some money to be active in this field. And for example, we will invest in the next years 50 billion euro for new models, for environmentally friendly technologies and production facilities around the world. Responsibility, ladies and gentlemen, goes hand in hand with our corporate values, and 7 values stands for our culture. This project was already started in 2012, and it was compiled by our own managers themselves. And the results are 7 values: closeness to the customers, maximum performance, create values, respect, responsibility, and, let me outline a little bit more in detail, the ability to innovate. That means to carry ideas right through the company with courage, with toughness, and with persistence, as just as important as the idea itself is. Each employee should fight personally for these ideas and should be open for the ideas of the others. And last but not least, sustainability. That means that it is essential to take account the long-term goals approved by the company in daily work. Managers have the means and the duty to think beyond day-to-day actualities and to organize it. These corporate values are going hand in hand with our sustainability management. And it's for a corporate player an increasing question of putting in place a holistic and a strategic sustainability concept. And in this understanding, CSR means the responsibility of enterprises for their impact on society. This is a renewed definition of CSR, of the EU strategy, and we can confirm it. As a global active company, Volkswagen is able to integrate the fine tradition of shouldering responsibility in the sense of helping the needy. This is a restricted understanding of charity with a new model of responsibility and of sustainability. And I think this modern view of CSR sees responsibility and sustainability as 2 sides of the same coin, because sustainability calls precisely for an equitable ultimate balance between economic, ecological, and social dimensions. And I think for us it's very important that we have now more than 500,000 people working for the Volkswagen Group. That means more than 500,000 individual contributions to its day-to-day success, and more than 500 individuals sets up of talent. And I think we are committed to develop these employees in health, in skills, and their duties. I will end up with 3 comments to see how we can succeed in this serious situation. In a globalized economy, companies are required to operate in a more political environment because we have no general international global order framework, and therefore questions like environment, like human rights and civil social participation becomes more and more the key words and are forcing companies in the political arena. Secondly, corporate activity requires an ethical foundation. Economic management is problem-solving action for overriding purposes and not an end in itself. In this understanding, strategic CSR is an implementation concept for this ethically corporate activity and therefore a contribution by companies towards a sustainable social market economy. Finally, as recent years have shown, CSR is an appropriate management of ESG risks, contributes towards corporate values. Furthermore, it offers the opportunity for companies to differentiate themselves from their competitors, and therefore meets expectations of the customers, of the employees, of general public and the financial markets that increasingly view specific performance and accomplishments of sustainability and social responsibility as compulsory elements of corporate activities. I think I will come to an end of this short address. I hope I give you some of our ideas, of our understanding of corporate responsibility, and thank you for listening.